Hello and welcome to Spokane Buddhist Temple's virtual service. My name is Amanda Goodwin and I will be your MC. Your doshi for today's service is Reverend Melissa Opal. Before we begin, please know that we will be muting your mics. We are live streaming to Facebook, so it's recommended that you turn your camera off and switch your viewing mode to speaker view. To do this, just go to the upper right-hand corner of your computer screen and you should see view where you can choose speaker view. And then if you don't want your picture or name shown, please take that into account and update it accordingly. After service today, we will have an opportunity to have a Dharma discussion on the Dharma talk that we heard and socialize a little bit. So if you'd like to stay for that, please do so. Our opening chant today will be the Sambu Jo. I'll share my screen so that everyone can see, and that's going to be on page 24 if you have your own service book.
Namo Mirabutsu. Namo Mirabutsu. Namana. Namida Butsu. Namandats. 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 Namandats.
We will now read the golden chain number 2 on page 15. I am a link in the Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in the Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Now let's turn to page 12 for the reading of the Jodo Shinshu Creed number 1. Together, please. Entrusting the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name, I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding one another, I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. Today's Dharma talk will be given by Minister's Assistant Chad Donahoe.
Should we do the juice first?
Oh, yes, definitely. Hold on one sec. I'll share my screen again. I just skipped right over that. The Jusege is on page 93. Just one moment, and I'll get there. Thank you, Melissa.
Wagon Trosegan Hishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzo Seifujo Shogat Gao Muyoko Fuidai Seishu Fusai Shomingu Seifujo Shogan Gashi Jobuturo Nyosho Chojibo Kukyo Mishomon Seifujo Shogan Ryokushin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Ishoten Nimshi Shinriki and Daiko Fushomu Saido Shoujo San Kumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kai Chiegen Meshi Kon Moan Heisoku Shoakudo Sudatsu Zen Shumon Kosojo Manzo いよろちぽ日月主樹期天候音符源一種解放像公正苦読法上大集中説法ししく供養一切物無足種特本願念出上満得意三害用如仏無下知須達未不詳願学営力都市最小尊志願や国家大戦の感動国書店にとうちみょてなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶナマンダブナマンダブガニシクドクミョドセイサイドホンツボナイシおじょあんらとナモミラブツナモミラブツナモニミラブツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツ
All right, now we're ready for you, Chad. Dharma talk will be given by Minister's Assistant, Chad Donahoe.
Okay. So so New Year's Eve, we conducted the Joya A service, in which we ring out the 108 delusions in order to start the new year. Now, it's a very lovely service, but unfortunately, it is symbolic, and we still have all 108 delusions within us. So I'd like to read from a talk from Reverend Ogui, where he tries to help us to live with these 108 defilements. So around my wrist is the Nenju. You see this one, but traditionally it has 108 beads. So then you'd take that 108 and you'd wrap it around, you'd kind of take it like this, and then you have it like that. As you see, that was a little awkward to kind of do that with 108. So they simplified it and they did it to this. So if you actually count these solid beads, there's 27, which is a factor of 108. So that 27 times 4, 108. So they did that to make it a little simpler. But just remember, This symbolizes 108, all right? So the reason they did that is because thousands of years ago, people in India analyzed our emotions, our passions, and illusions into 108 of them. So don't get excited when you feel one or two of them. There are 108. When I wear these beads, putting palms together, I make an honest presentation of myself. I am living with passions, illusions, desires, anger, and folly. The 108 desires, which these beads represent, are divided into three categories or phases. The first stage is endless wanting. The second stage is anger, which occurs when the desires are not fulfilled. And the third stage is regret. These are very normal phases for us human beings to go through as we live our daily lives. Here is an example to show you how these phases operate. Remember, this is Reverend Agui's example, not mine. So suppose you're attracted to a young woman and you take her on a date. You buy her flowers and dinner. At the end of the date, she just says, thank you and good night, and goes rapidly into her home. You've been raised well, so you accept this behavior at the end of the first few dates. After many such dates, you begin to think, I spent such time and money, and she still only says thank you and good night at the end of the date. I want more than this. You get angry, then you feel regret. You may think, I should never have taken this woman on all those dates. You may think, I spent a lot of money on her. She is not worth it. I think as we live, we all have endless desires. Desires for eating and drinking, sleeping, material things, sexual experiences, and fame. Now, you may not think of sleeping as something to be desired. Then go for one night without sleep. If you still don't understand, go for a second night without sleep. There's also an endless desire of eating. Yes, eating is fun. And we have desire for material abundance. Business people are very smart to take advantage of such desire in people, presenting fashions and more fashions. Do you know that people buy new expensive golf clubs each year because golf club companies produce new styles each year? Their advertisements say things like, if you buy this, you can hit the ball straight. We want to be like that, so we buy new clubs. There's also endless desire for prestige. It is nice to be admired with titles, names, and fame. There's also endless desire for sex. This is not good or bad, it is just endless. But when these things don't go as I wish, then the troubles begin. To me, these 108 passions and desires represent the energy and power of life. That does not mean that having passions and desires makes us bad or good, right or wrong. It just is. So these endless desires are. These two clear beads right here represent wisdom and compassion. So I question myself, practicing wisdom and compassion, what does that mean? To me, these 108 desires are the energy of life, the power of life. There's no question about it. In Buddhist practice, we often talk about casting away or decreasing such emotions and thoughts as greed, anger, and delusion. But I want to talk about dukkha and practicing without working to cast away or destroy our passions and delusions. These passions and delusions are the power of living. The Buddhist term dukkha is sometimes translated into English as illusions, but this definition does not explain dukkha well. Dukkha is endless anger, endless desire, endless idle complaints. We usually practice in order to reduce or cast away things like greed, anger, and folly. We practice to decrease what in Buddhist terminology is called dukkha or illusions. One sutra says that without putting effort into cutting these out of your life, you can live in the state of mind of perfect harmony, the mind of enlightenment. This is puzzling, isn't it? You are making such an effort to decrease passions and delusions. You attend a workshop, you learn techniques to reduce or cut off what is in your mind in order to attain peace of mind. But now you hear that without getting rid of passions and delusions, you can live in a state of mind of perfect harmony, the mind of enlightenment. How could I be like that? I have lived with endless desires, passions, greed, anger, follies, and idle complaints. From the ordinary sense, this goes on, never concluding. So I question myself, what am I doing? As long as we are living as human beings, we are living with such endless desires, anger, and folly. Because we think of putting effort into getting rid of dukkha, someone may take advantage of you or me, especially from a religious viewpoint. It is easy to do. Feeling anger and passion is an endless reactive chain. as we live. These exist to the last moment of our death. It does not matter if you're Buddhist or Christian or Hindu or atheist. This still happens to you. So how can I live in a state of enlightenment? Here is one answer to this dilemma. Think about the properties of light. It shines everywhere on everyone. It even shines on people you don't like. Yes, clouds may come between you and sunlight, but eventually the sun will break through and shine on you. This light, which is always shining, has the power to change or transform a bitter apple to a sweet apple without changing the form of the apple. This kind of change is possible through awareness, understanding, and realization. Awareness can change the direction of your life. With awareness, the light of wisdom and compassion starts working. You could say that such energy, the energy of dukkha, can be transformed into the energy of enlightenment. It's like an apple. It is very sour at the beginning. The sun shines on the apple and changes the apple. The taste of the apple changes from bitter to sweet. The apple is transformed. So anger, desire, and folly are the energy of life. If we transform ourselves, desire, anger, and folly become the power of awareness and enlightenment. Then I question, how can I do this? It could be by awareness. Yes, I have to be aware. We may think that to be aware, we have to learn, study, and practice. But true living comes from life experience. Life is practice. We usually think the good, happy aspects of our life are mine. This kind of understanding is hardly learning. With this approach, it takes enormous time, maybe not learning anything even. But get rid of good and bad and right and wrong. Thus, whatever happens in your life, see it, face it, overcome it, then always question, what do I learn from this experience? What we learn is always the kind of life we are creating. That's the key point. I'm not saying which experiences, I'm saying all experiences. This is very hard to understand through our intellectual analysis. When we realize the light of wisdom and compassion, we spontaneously and noticeably change. It's easy to talk about faith, but emphasizing faith can lead you away from spiritual awareness. You have to have a balance of understanding and faith. Having faith is a shortcut, but this faith has to be unconditional. You have to throw yourself into it. No questions, no conditions. Then you live in it. That's the dangerous part, and yet very powerful part, because the light of wisdom and compassion has power. One time I was lying down in my living room watching TV, and a swimming instructor was saying, hey, don't struggle, relax, relax, then you'll float. The more you struggle, the more you sink. I thought, wow, what is this? You can try it next time you swim. When we struggle, the more we thrash around and move, we sink fast. When we watch professional swimmers, they are so relaxed. They float to the surface and just move. They're so relaxed. We so often struggle to cast away our energy of anger, follies, and desire, but instead just accept it. See it as what I am. This does not mean to intentionally do things that hurt other people. From there, you are taking the first step. Learn from the experience, the teaching, the practice. Build up the power of wisdom and compassion. This assists us to transform. It is possible to be transformed by awareness. Through awareness, it is possible to change your way of life, to change your character, to change your lifestyle, or to change your way of thinking. Yet we always go back again and again. Then you can smile, and when you smile, you come back again. This part is very difficult, very difficult. You're in a cycle. So maybe at the end of the beginning of old age, you may learn to throw yourself into the power of light, wisdom, and compassion. Then you flow. This is the means to enlightenment without cutting off such dukkha or illusion, which are endless. You can live in the light of enlightenment, the life of harmony. Well, that's all I can explain at the present time. Maybe I could do better tomorrow, but for today, it's the best I can do. Did you understand some of it? The one thing I encourage myself, and I encourage you also, do not conclude anything. Being a conclusion seeker is a modern sickness. Be aware that we are living in the process of becoming. That's the reason why I said I may explain it better tomorrow, but I won't be here tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad, for a most interesting Dharma talk. We're now going to read the Threefold Refuge on page 10, led by Reverend Melissa Opel. I'll share my screen for that so everyone can see it.
Difficult is it to receive a human? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha? Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandatsu. Namandatsu.
We thank you for attending today's virtual service. As an all-volunteer Sangha, we truly appreciate all donations and efforts. Without your continued support, we could not host our visiting ministers, assist with continuing education, or provide a place for all to come and listen to the Dharma. Although we cannot meet in person, many volunteers continue to maintain our temple and keep it functioning so that when we are able to meet again, the space will be ready. If you would like to donate, you can do so by either sending a check to the temple at 927 South Perry Street, or I believe we have a PayPal link up on our website that's fixed now. You can feel free to also email the temple if you have any further questions. We'll now have a few short announcements. So if you didn't submit your announcements prior to service, you can type them into the chat box and we will try to get to you.
I apologize. I was typing and trying to unmute myself at the same time. Can't do it. I'm not a multitasker. I actually can't think of any announcements that we have coming up. I have gotten a few emails from people asking about, where they could get further information and maybe like study materials from the temple. Thank you, Mary, for correcting the zip code. I have once again, now I've apparently trying to combine the temple zip code and my zip code. So never trust my zip code. I'm so sorry. 99202. And so if you're looking for further resources on either Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu, you can visit the Buddhist Churches of America at buddhistchurchesofamerica.org. If you go to the temple tab, it will take you to all the videos and sites of different temples. There's also resources on the Buddhist Churches of America, or you could head over to Everyday Buddhist that the ministers at Orange County do. It's a separate website though. So Everyday Buddhism will get you another set of resources. The BDK, B as in Bob, D as in Dave, K as in Ken, the BDK website, if you just search BDK, they also give out ebooks on Buddhism. You can request the 3 Pure Land Sutras, which are our school's books. And you can also, I believe, request Reverend Tanaka's new book there as well and get an ebook for free.
So another announcement, I believe on the 24th of this month, we are going to have an all Sangha meeting where we just talk about the state of the temple going forward, and also, I don't know if this is the right word, swear in the new board members. So hopefully that'll be the 24th of this month.
Installation.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
And Celeste just put in the chat box too, one that I forgot about, but actually want to attend. It should be really good. is Shin Buddhism and Science Fiction Workshop that the Center for Buddhist Education is putting on Saturday morning. So again, you can hop on the Buddhist Churches of America website and you can sign up for it. And then Mary Neighbor just posted about the Discovering Passage meditation that she teaches, and you can participate in as well.
Wonderful, thank you. In place of Oshoko, we will now have a few moments of quiet sitting to think on the Buddha and to express our gratitude for the teachings, but don't sign off afterwards, as that's when we will socialize and have the Dharma discussion. Thank you.
And that now concludes our service for January 3rd. In the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other, and hopefully you'll be able to stay on for a discussion. Thank you for those at home that joined us on Facebook Live or joining us through YouTube.